you know what this thing's called? It's called a wug.
3-year-old Peter is learning a new word.
Wug.
So, for that matter, am I.
I've got another one. I've got... What is this
Our
called?
teacher is Stephen Pinker, a psychologist who believes children have an instinct for language.
I've got 2.
Wugs.
That's right.
Good. It's kids' astonishing ability to soak up language that's led Pinker to conclude we must be born with its building blocks already in our heads.
It's called a toma. Can you say toma?
No.
No? That's a hard one? Can you say toe?
Toe.
Can you say ma?
Ma.
Can you say toma?
Tuma.
Oh, you
Oh,
can
that's
say it.
good.
I
Yeah,
knew
you
you
did
could
a
say
good job
it.
with Pinker and his colleagues at MIT have taught nonsense words to hundreds of kids to see if they'll apply the same rules of grammar to made-up words as they do to
That's a
real
toma.
ones.
And if that's a toma, I have 2.
Tumas.
That's exactly what I've got. Human language is very, very special. It's not like most of the mechanical language devices that we have, such as our...
Let's try another one.
Our friend over here. Now, he's got programmed into him a few dozen canned sentences, and he just blurts them out verbatim. But people, including kids, aren't like that. We don't have whole sentences prefabricated in our brains. We put them together on the fly. So I could tell you, giant 30-foot purple gerbils are attacking Boston.
Yeah.
I can tell you that Michael Jackson married Elvis's daughter.
Right.
Brand new things. You had no way of expecting.
All of these incredible things.
All of these amazing things.
Yeah, and,
how do we...
and somehow I'd understand what you were saying.
And you can understand what I'm saying. And the,
Yeah.
the reason we can do it is we've got like grammatical rules in our head. Not the kind of rules that your school marm tried to drill into you about split infinitives, but things that allow you to string words together, assemble words out of bits of words to convey brand new thoughts. Now, Alan's going to show you this one.
The wugs and tomas show how quickly kids pick up the rule for making plurals.
You know that guy?
Cookie Monster.
Okay, now we're going to teach you how to chan.
Okay, here's how you chant. Kids also quickly learn grammatical rules for verbs. Listen for Erin's past tense of to chan.
What did I just do?
Chan. Cookie Monster.
Simply from listening to the conversations going on around her.
That's how you pell. Okay, now I want you to pell.
Erin has learned how to make the past tense of verbs by applying another rule of English, add an ED.
Do you like doing that? What did you just do?
I pelled Big Bird.
You did. If you asked a kid what they're doing, they couldn't tell you this, but it's sort of what's going on in the background of their mind. Then, whenever they hear a new word, to pell, and they've got to talk about what happened in the past, they can say pelled, even though they've obviously never heard anyone say pelled.
Now, is that
before.
how you know that they've somehow internalized a rule, that they can take a brand new word and put it in the past tense by adding this ED, which they know is the way you do it?
Exactly. If they just said stayed, played, talked, swallowed, we'd have no way of knowing whether they put it together on the fly using a rule or whether they just wrote and memorized it from their parents. But if they can say things like pelled or channed, or for the plural, if they can talk about 2 wugs or 2 tomas, since they've never heard wugs, we know that. We taught it to them there and then. We know they have to have put it together on the fly. These lights.
Steve Pinker's favorite example of how well children pick up the rules of language comes when they make mistakes, using a rule where they shouldn't.
Eyes don't hurt so much.
The earmuffs prevent the lion from hearing,
Can't see either.
so only Erin hears my story.
So he decides to go for a walk. Walks outside, and he finds a pad and a pencil in the street. So he picks up the pencil, and he decides to draw a picture of a car. And he walks over to Elmo's house, and he gives the picture to Elmo. And Elmo says, "Great! I love pictures. I'm going to give this to a friend of mine." So he walks over to Alan's house, and he sticks the picture on Alan's head. That's the story.
Telling the lion the story requires putting it in the past tense. Listen for how Erin handles the irregular verbs.
And a pad, and so he drew a picture of a car, and he gave it to, and he said, "What a nice picture! I think I'm going to give it to Elmo." And so he walked to Elmo's house and gave it to Elmo, and then Elmo said, "I know who needs a picture like this," and Elmo walked over and sticked it on
Alan.
Alan's head.
That's very good. That's another way that we know that they're not just memorizing words, that they are, right from the beginning, sort of abstracting out these rules and applying them to new forms. Because if they're saying bringed, they obviously haven't heard mom and dad say bringed. Mom and dad say brought.
Yeah.
But at that moment, the child is trying to use bring in the past tense. Brought isn't coming to mind fast enough. If they're at the age where they know add ed to form a past tense, then
Even though they've heard brought, they'll say bringed because the rule is sort of powerful to them.
yeah. Well, I think the rule is there to fill in the gap whenever the past tense doesn't come to mind quickly enough. They go around and around.
So firmly and so naturally do children grasp the rules of language that Pinker is convinced that our brains are built with language in
What did the
mind.
airplane just do?
Why?
Yeah?
Humans, he believes, are born with an instinct for language, an instinct that carries us through, even when a particular language's annoying little details still have to be learned.
I just tried it.
That's right. Obviously, no language is innate. Take any kid from any race, bring them up in any culture, and they will learn the language equally quickly.
Yeah.
So no particular language is in the genes. But what might be in the genes is the ability to acquire language. You say that?
Toma.
Yeah. So it's not any particular language, but it's the bits and pieces that language is built out of that I think they're born with. Can you tell me what I have on this table?
2 tomas.
That's right.